Pirates, criminals, and misfits, oh my! Let's break out of Impel Down and into the new meta with the brand new Luffy leader from OP16, The Time of Battle. And if you're looking for how to play him, here's everything you need to know. Luffy is a 4-life green and blue dual-color leader with 5k power, and activate main once per turn if the only characters on your field are Impel Down type characters. Set up to 2 of your Dawn cards as active. As is the case with any card game, when your leader is able to cheat resources, in this case reactivating 2 Dawn cards, it's typically pretty good. You're either able to take more game actions in a turn than you should, or utilize it to power up your attackers and remain aggressive on tempo. And while a lot of the characters we'll be looking at are definitely in need of a Dawn or 2 to get through, it's nothing compared to the value this deck generates. Remember, what we need to focus on is Impel Down to maximize our Luffy leader's ability. Not that we can't run non-Impel Down cards, but we're not exactly incentivized to. So let's start with our search engines. The brand new Monkey.D.Luffy and Impel.Ivankov characters from OP16. Luffy is a 1-cost 0-power character with 1k counter. With on play, look at top 3 cards of your deck to reveal up to 1 Impel Down type card and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. But unlike most searchers, this one also swings big when it's Dawn 1 your turn ability. This character gains 1000 power for each of your characters with a different card name. While this means you do need a board of 3 other unique characters to hit for 5k, it's pretty easy to achieve when your leader is giving you 2 extra Dawn to play with every turn. Or when you have Ivankov, a 4-cost 4000 power green character with 1k counter, and on play, look at the top 3 cards of your deck and reveal up to 1 Impel Down type card. Add it to your hand and place the rest on the bottom of your deck. Then play up to 1 character card with a cost of 2 or less from your hand. Free playing a 2-cost character may not seem like much, but look, when they're as aggressive as this 1-drop Luffy, you'll soon be feeling supercharged by them. Like our premier 2-drop pieces from OP16, Blue Mr. 1 and Blue Mr. 2. Mr. 1 Daz.Bonez is a 2-cost 2000 power character with 1k counter who draws a card on play replacing itself. Plus his Dawn 1 your turn effect, if you have 5 or more cards in your hand, this character gains 3000 power. With the Dawn itself, that's a 6000 power swing, and trust me, having 5 cards in hand is very achievable for this deck. Meanwhile, Mr. 2 is a 2-cost 1000 power character with on play, draw 1 card. And a Dawn 1 when attacking, this character's base power becomes the same as your opponent's leaders during this turn. This means you can always attack leader for just 1 Dawn, even if your opponent's leader is being boosted by something like OP15 Zora. And don't forget, your Dawn stacks after the base power is copied. So swinging into a 5k leader means Mr. 2 is attacking for 6. These are the prime examples of lightning fast board building and attacks this deck can get up to. But it's packed with a great suite of mid-range and tempo pieces as well that has evolved this deck into 2 variants. A very popular mid-range version that's currently utilizing the new Prisoner Impel Down engine, and a more low-to-the-ground Blitz and Go variant. We'll be showing you the cards for each of these deck lists, so just stick around to the end to get them both. But let's start with examining the Prisoner engine itself. Prisoner of Impel Down is a standout rare from OP16, a blue 6-cost 6000 power character with 2k counter, who under the rules of the game you may have any number of this card in your deck. While this isn't terribly impressive on its own, it's able to combine with a slew of new Impel Down cards to free play it or gain additional buffs. The main one in this deck is OP16's Buggy, a blue 5-cost 6000 power character with 1k counter, and on play, if your leader has the Impel Down type, draw 1 and play up to 1 Prisoner of Impel Down card from your hand. Also, a once per turn, this effect can be activated when your opponent attacks. Up to 1 of your Prisoner of Impel Down cards gains Blocker during this turn. And remember, with Luffy's leader ability, this card virtually costs you 3 Dawn. So for 3 Dawn on your 3rd turn onward, you can play 2 6000 power bodies, and then later give 1 Blocker so it immediately impacts the board. Also providing 2 unique character names for your 1-drop Luffy. And people have been supercharging these 2 with the help of the new starter deck 30's Mr. 3, a 2-cost 3000 power green character with 2k counter. And an activate main which lets you rest this character to give up to 2 of your characters with 6000 base power, 2 rested Dawn cards each. And don't worry, it's also Impel Down type, meaning between him and your leader, you're able to reuse up to 6 Dawn over the course of your turn. And we have plenty of other 6000 power characters you can target him with, like Starter Deck 30's Monkey.D.Luffy, a green 4-cost 6000 power character with on play you may rest 1 of your Dawn cards, and this character gains Rush this turn. Plus, one attacking ability that lets you rest up to 1 of your opponent's blocker characters, clearing the way for your flurry of attacks to connect or at least eat resources. There's also OP16's Crocodile, a blue 4-cost 6000 power character. With blocker and on play, you may return 1 of your characters with a cost of 2 or more to the owner's hand. Play up to 1 Impel Down type character card with a cost of 2 or less from your hand. Between blocker and his on play, you can easily protect your smaller characters once they've started attacking, and really let you dig deeper into your deck. There are so many ways to quickly and effectively crush your opponent already, and we haven't even gotten to some of the new and old interaction tools that really push it over. Just like I haven't gotten to thank our members yet for supporting the content here on this channel and getting this and all of our other content up to 2 weeks early, as well as emotes, One Piece chapter reviews, and more. You're the only reason we can operate and afford our editor, so we can't thank you enough. All right, let's show off the cool stuff. Another Mr. 3. I promise, it's worth it. This one from OP16 is a 4-cost 5,000 power blue character with 1k counter. His activate main lets you trash this character, draw 2 cards, and up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 9 or less cannot attack until the end of your opponent's next end phase. Now, at most, this character can generate you 3 cards worth of value. 1 for the extra card being drawn after trashing itself and drawing 2, 1 for the card you would inevitably lose or counter with if your opponent was able to make that attack, and 1 card if this Mr. 3 was pre-played and got to attack before you activated its main, either connecting or getting another counter out of your opponent's hand. However, you're rarely going to pre-play this guy, and rightly so, when you can basically play him as a 2-Dawn, draw 2, prevent an attack after you get 2 back from your leader ability. Don't let your opponent get the chance to stop it from going off by pre-playing it. Besides, if you want an attacker that slows things down, you have OP16's Boa Hancock, a green 7-cost 9,000 power character with Unblockable. And on play, up to one of your opponent's characters, other than Monkey.D.Luffy, cannot be rested until the end of your opponent's next end phase. This card is an absolute house that will probably see play in green decks for a long time. But basically, if your opponent plays a deck that can handle the wide and small, or tries to hide behind large blockers, Boa can give you a path to victory while also making sure the game doesn't end before you get to attack with her. This deck also has access to the game's newest hand-hate, OP16-022 a 3-cost 0-power blue character with 1k counter, and activate main you may rest this character. If your opponent has 8 or more cards in their hand, they place 2 cards from their hand at the bottom of their deck in any order. While something like this in a puddingless world seems attractive, right now you're able to swing more than enough times and for more than enough power, or if your opponent's sitting at 8 cards in hand, you can better utilize the 3 Dawn to invest in your board and strip them away. Especially when you're always going to get the worst 2 cards from your opponent since it isn't random. But good to keep an eye on for the future, especially with a unique name. Some other notable support cards are OP16's new events, specifically Let's Go to Navy Headquarters and Gum Gum Twist Jet Pistol. The first is a 1-cost dual modal event whose main lets you rest 6 additional Dawn cards, and if you have 5 Impel down type characters with different card names, set your leader and all of your characters as active, while the counter gives your leader 3,000 power during the battle. A great flex finisher that'll never sit stranded in your hand. While the latter is a 1-cost main event, up to one of your Monkey.D.Luffy cards gains double attack during this turn. Then if your leader has the Impel down type, rest 2 of your opponent's character cards with a cost of 3 or less. With trigger, rest your opponent's leader. While the intent is clearly to remove chump blockers to get a double attack through, I think this card becomes more useful in the mirror match where you can preemptively rest and target their small body attackers like Luffy, Mr. 1, and Mr. 2. And if it's just about removing blockers or setting up attacks, we already have 2-cost Mr. 3 from OP16, a 2-cost 3,000 power green character with 1k counter, and on play, if your leader is the Impel down type, rest one of your opponent's characters, cost 5 or less. But while we're slated to be an Impel down deck, there are plenty of ways we can break outside the prison and bring in some new tools. And the last one just might shock you. Like any green deck worth its salt right now, we're all about ignoring our opponent's board and continuing to smash face. So OP13's I Know You're Strong, so I'll go all out from the very start, and OP08's Electrical Luna come in clutch. The first is a 1-cost dual modal event with main, and they rest 2 of your Dawn cards. Up to 2 of your opponent's rested characters with a cost of 7 or less will not become active in your opponent's next refresh phase, while its counter gives your leader 3,000 power during this battle. Meanwhile, Electrical Luna is a 3-cost main event that prevents all of your opponent's rested characters with a cost of 7 or less from becoming active in their next refresh phase. With trigger, rest up to one of your opponent's characters. And dig into your bulk, because a card I raved about before is finally ready to hit the spotlight. EBO2's Gum Gum Champion Rifle, a 1-cost blue counter event that says if your leader has the Impel down type, up to one of your leader or character cards gains 2,000 power during this battle. Then your opponent returns one of their active characters to the owner's hand. With trigger, return one character with a cost of 3 or less to the bottom of the owner's deck. So while this is the perfect leader to finally leverage this card, we unfortunately live in a format where most decks are running lots of cheap utility characters that just sit on the board. So this card may become more or less favorable as the format solidifies. Keep your eye on it. But another classic comes back if you want to jam the more aggressive variant of this deck, with Ivankov from Starter Deck 12, a 3-cost 4,000 power blue character with on play, reveal 1 card from the top of your deck and play up to 1 character card with a cost of 2. Then place the rest of the bottom of your deck in any order. Plus when attacking once per turn, draw 1 card if you have 6 or less cards in hand. The on play is a gamble. We don't have ways to really set up the top of our deck, but in the aggro variant of this deck, you should be jamming so many 2 costs that it's fine. And it gives you a very proactive play to start on your 3 Dawn turn. But we actually have the perfect character to include in this deck outside of Impel down, and it's OP15 Brook, a 6-cost 6,000 power green character with 1k counter. His on-play rests up to one of your opponent's cards, not characters, cards, meaning you can remove blockers, rest threats to attack into, or rest Dawn to prevent counter events. But its secondary ability is the strongest and what lets us get around our leader's Impel down only clause. It lets you trash this character, and if your leader is Straw Hat Crew type, set up to one of your characters with a base cost of 8 or less is active. So you can play Brook during your turn after already using your leader effect, then on the following turn, trash it before getting to activate your leader effect for that turn. And its unique name helps for your 1-drop Luffy. It's not looking for Impel down type characters, just unique characters. And besides, what's better than a 9,000 power unblockable attack from a Boa Hancock? 2. We'll have some gameplay of this deck going up soon that you'll find at the end card of this video or linked in the description and comments below if it's up. But let's run down some basic play lines now to get you started. When it comes to turn-to-turn gameplay, I'm going to focus on breaking down the popular mid-range variant of Blue Green Luffy that most people are playing at this time. Since the aggro version basically boils down to just make the most valuable lines to generate cards and make attacks with your dorks, similar to old Red Zoro days of yore. Going second lets us maximize our leader effect immediately, so let's highlight that line first. Using our total of 4 Dawn for the turn, look to populate some combination of 1-cost Luffys and 2-drop Mr. 1s and Mr. 2s. Entering turn 2 with 2 bodies, we should try to use our initial 4 Dawn to play at Ivankov, then free play another character off Ivankov before untapping 2 Dawn to attach to your turn 1 characters and make 3 attacks including leader. On turn 3 we can expect to have lost up to 2 of our 4 characters. So on 6 Dawn, we can play our Buggy to populate it and a prisoner of Impel down. That's 2 6,000 power bodies, plus we get to draw a card. Then untap 2 Dawn, so we have 3 Dawn left over for repopulating and making our next attacks. A great fallback is always attacking with characters, using Crocodile to reset them so they can't be attacked, and digging deeper into our deck using the remaining Dawn to rebuild board. Turn 4, if our opponent has built a wide board, we want to utilize our freeze events to ignore board and keep pushing in attacks over 2 turns. If our opponent has a singular large unit they're building around or have slowed the game down, we can instead drop our 7-cost Boa to keep that unit out of combat and get our pokes in. Then untap on 10 Dawn the following turn with our board intact, a large unblockable body, and the ability to utilize combos like our freeze tools, our 4-cost Mr. 3, or even let's go to the Navy headquarters to drive the final nails into the coffin. On our odd curve, we get less of an explosive start since we only get to play with 2 Dawn initially instead of 4 for turn 1, and we rely on having a 1-cost Luffy to make any opening play. On turn 2, we get to play with a total of 5 Dawn, and our best option is to populate whatever 2 drops we have to set up swings on our 3rd turn. Turn 3, we get abusive thanks to 5-cost Buggy populating 2 6k bodies and drawing a card before untapping 2 Dawn and landing 3 attacks between our leader and characters. Then we have a clean 7 Dawn to stick a Boa, halting our opponent while we have as little as 3 but as much as 5 total attacks coming in that turn if they didn't properly interact with our board. And then it's just tempoing them out with effects to keep our opponents out of combat until we win. And when it comes to matchups, it's pretty straightforward. Leaders with less than 5 life are good to us. Even if they have 6,000 power, we can hit them pretty reasonably and they'll inherently have less cards to defend with over the course of the game because they have less life. And our deck leverages a flurry of small attacks that can typically be 1 card countered if they have enough cards, so that 1 less card across the course of the game is actually very important. Decks that also are slow to get started, leaving us a lot of runway to be aggressive without our board being contained early on, is also great. Black Yellow Teach sort of encapsulates the perfect blend of those elements, which is why we're forcing them to run Wipers right now. But decks that can easily go resource for resource against us and leverage cheap characters to keep ours in check, or they go big with great catch-up effects while having 5 life, can be a real pain. So decks like Purple NL or the new OP16 Red Ace. And if you're looking for a place to start, here's a couple of lists for you. This list went 6-0 at a local card shop event in Japan, and is the basic blueprint of the mid-range builds that are going around right now and have multiple other tops. The main difference being the spicy Brook inclusion, which I quite like. While this is the more low-to-the-ground aggro variant that I've currently landed on. And if you're looking for more OP16 leader guides or some more fun One Piece content, check out the channel and subscribe.